Alright, hey everybody, it's Allie, and in this video I'm actually going to be starting a new little notebook here. I'm doing a couple projects to make some stamp samples using the new stamps that Laura Wansick has released on our site. I also have my Around the Yard notebook that's in progress. I need to do some catch up on that one. I've got some stories to tell there, but it's also been raining a ton, which is a story in and of itself. But the new little notebook that I wanted to do, I put one of a puffy sticker. This was an add-on recently. It says, "This is happening right now." And I wanted an opportunity to create a home for some specific kind of everyday life around here stories. These are the kinds of stories that I might have included in the past in a Project Life album. So random photos of little things is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm starting off here with a picture of a bunch of shoes. So with 5 teenagers, we have a lot of people in and out of our house, lots of friends coming over, hanging out, and I wanted to do a little story about the shoes. And I also wanted to make something that was going to use one of the ands that are on this set, which is a super universal set. I'm excited to have access to it now. I think I might just do a repeated pattern with the word and that might just go here inside of this space. So the photo would be on this side, the and little decoration would go there, and then I can write down today, you know, something I noticed. I can use the Today I Noticed prompt. That's this Art of Noticing notebook. We have these, I think yellow is the color that we may have in the shop right now. But using this just as a place to capture and catch some of these kinds of stories, or just everyday life stories that maybe I don't want to do a full 6x8 project for, but would work really well in here. So this would be anything about our family, about our house, that kind of a thing. So on this one, my plan again right now is to create some sort of a pattern that will go on here. I think I'm going to do it on a different piece of paper and then add that into the square. And then I'm also thinking about adding in some vellum, and I think what I'm going to do is I want to do 2022, so 2020 and then 2, so using this as well. Maybe I'll just create a page, a vellum page that will go between these two sections here. And then I'm just looking to see, I'll probably end up adding something on here at some point in time too. So those are a few things that I'm planning on doing in this particular notebook in this video today. All right, for this one, I'm starting off just by repeat stamping and creating a pattern using the one of the and stamps. I'm using 4 different Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks. I'm using Evergreen Bough, Speckled Egg, Salvaged Patina, and Tumbled Glass. And I'm just varying the color and the placement. In this case, you know, where you're creating a pattern, I'm definitely not trying to make a perfect pattern. You know, perfect is not what I'm going for in this situation. I just had fun playing with the colors, trying to space them out so that I didn't have the same color sitting next to the same color in my pattern. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm going to stamp until I've covered pretty much the top half of this sheet of cardstock, and then I'm going to cut it to fit inside that square in the Art of Noticing notebook. I thought this was really fun. Like, this is a great way to use your stamps in terms of making a background pattern. It's probably one of my go-to ways for working with stamps, but I also just love how by using stamps to create patterns, you actually get to customize and have the sentiments match your story or support your story better. So in this case, the ands were about all of the shoes, right? This shoe and this shoe and this shoe and this shoe and this shoe is really why I wanted to stamp it in that way. So then I went ahead and trimmed it once I had it close enough to the size of that square, trimming it down. I think I trim a little bit more off of it here in just a second. And then it's just going to get placed right inside that square in the Art of Noticing notebook. I also loved in the picture of the shoes that I took, you know, there was just the one pair had the colorful laces, and that became the jumping off point for the colors that I picked for the stamping there. In these notebooks like this, sometimes I use the space that's available, like in the Art of Noticing, how we you've got a square there and then it just says today I noticed underneath. Sometimes I use that and sometimes I cover up the whole thing. It's really kind of up to you. Now you heard me talk a little bit about creating a vellum page. This is where I'm going to do some additional stamping. So I'm making the size of the vellum a little bit bigger than the page size so that I can fold part of it over and then have it be adhered underneath my photo in order to create an additional page here in the notebook. With notebooks like this, you can always make your own, right? You can create your own where you can really customize all the pages, or you can find workarounds, which is what I'm doing right here, in order to add additional pages. So I marked the section that I needed to fold over. I'm just folding it over. I'm using a bone folder there to make it a really smooth seam, folding it over. And then you can see how it's going to get adhered behind my photo in order to create a page. Now, what I wanted to do on top of that vellum was add the date, and the year date is what I'm adding on there. And I knew that I wanted to play with this 6x8 numbers stamp set. So awesome for doing dates, right? There's lots of different things that you can, ways that you can stack these numbers together. So I'm using Tim's archival ink, and actually what I decided to do here is I'm doing a test. So I'm test stamping what my title will look like before I actually do it on the paper or on that sheet of vellum that I had already cut. I kind of wanted, part of the reason why I did is I wanted to see what it looked like if I did the 20 in color. And so that's what I'm using, another one of the archival inks, just to see what does it look like and give myself kind of a sense of where the placement would be. You can see that I double stamped it knowing that this wasn't going to be the one that I was going to use. And then I went into my stash and pulled out the lined alphabet, which we actually restocked. So if that's one you haven't picked up yet, we did restock that with this release. This is one of my favorites. You can see I've used it quite a bit there. Pulling off the 2 and the 0 because I wanted to have a number in my stack as well. And you could stack them in any way, right? Like the 2 could be a giant 2 if you have a really, really big 2. And we've done some like that for December Daily in the past. But I wanted to use just the smaller number size that ended up fitting just right on there. And so then this is where I'm taking it and doing it again on my actual page that's going to go into the album. Not worrying about making it perfect, not worrying about it being exactly right, but definitely, giving myself the opportunity to test stamp it first to see does it look like how I want it to look, is essentially what I'm trying to do there. It's just makes sense to test it out first. So I'm definitely doing the 20, the handwriting 20 paired with the 2, and then I'm going to use the 2 and the 0 from that lined alpha. And I really like how that turned out. And I decided to add it into this particular spread as the beginning of this Everyday Life notebook. I'm going to be doing another spread in here that I will share tomorrow. I think it's the next video in this series where I'm doing some additional background or pattern stamp creation with some text-based, actually alpha stamps. I think tomorrow I'm using the woodblock alpha stamps that we offered as part of this release to create a background with a collage of photos. So that's another page from this notebook that you'll see in a video tomorrow. So once I did the 2022, I had a little bit of space under the 0 there. So I found a word phrase sticker that says currently, and that seemed to work just fine on there. I can tell you that I really do love having all of those word phrase stickers living together so that I can just pull them all out at once. Now I'm going to add another stamp. This is from the Ali Phrases 4x6 stamp set, and it says abundance is a mindset, which I thought was pretty funny. Ironic, funny. I'm not sure if that's the right word for this, but I thought it was funny related to the picture of the abundant pairs of shoes, right, that are here in our house. So abundance is a mindset, and then I'm going to journal below. But you saw that I just took my rolling adhesive and adhered the vellum, the folded over vellum part onto the back of my photo, and now I'm going to adhere it into the notebook itself so that I have another page created. When I'm working with notebooks, a lot of times I like to use a ruler and an X-Acto knife. I cut right directly onto my table. You can use a glass mat. That's another great way to do that, or just a cutting mat. But I often just cut right on the table. It's
been years and years of doing that. And sometimes I have to recut it again because I didn't get it exactly right, or wanted to add a little bit more, cut off a little bit more. And then I do use a corner rounder to round those edges. This is a Project Life corner rounder that I've had for a while. And I'll link that for you guys below too. So creating the little title page there, I really like how that one turned out. I do actually end up adding chipboard on top of there. And on the back side where I have the blank portion of the word phrase sticker, the currently word phrase sticker, I looked through the rest of mine and I pulled out one that was the clear ones that say day by day and just added that onto the back. I take a pleather tag. This was from maybe Week in the Life last year. I can't remember where this one was from, but it was in my stash of embellishments, and it says for the record. And I liked that it was black and puffy and it just fit really nicely right on top of my stamped area. And then I'm going to add my journaling in here. Again, I did add on a chipboard piece. I think I must not have got that on the video, but you can see that in the images that are on the blog post today. I did a chipboard piece on the front of the vellum and on the back, so it repeats the shape there in order to cover it up on the back. And like I said, you can see that in the video or in the images on the blog post. And I'm just adding in some journaling about this season of life and embracing the messes of lots and lots of kids around here, and how that's really what we're all trying to do right now, is embrace what it is. This is what it is. This is the season that we are living in, and let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Let's make it, what are the ways that we can make it more enjoyable? And really continue to focus on the relationships with all the kids. So that's really what I'm writing about right there, checking it out before I finish up this one. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below, and I'll be back tomorrow with another little notebook page for you guys.